Welcome to a journey through time. Before you lies a city that didn't just grow, it exploded. This is the 1840s, the dawn of the shock city. Through the power of advanced artificial intelligence, we have pierced through the thick, yellow fog of history to reconstruct the iron, the steam, and the sweat of Victorian Manchester. By synthesizing thousands of archival maps, daguerreotypes, and the social observations of figures like Friedrich Engels, our neural networks have breathed life into the soot-blackened stonework. We aren't just looking at the past. We are entering the world's first industrial laboratory. Witness the moment humanity broke free from the pace of the horse and the seasons and entered the relentless, mechanical heartbeat of the machine age. Our story begins at the gates of the city. As we step off a steam-belching locomotive, the first thing that hits you is the sensory assault. The air isn't just air. It's a dense, gritty soup of coal smoke and sulfur that tastes of iron. You hear the deafening, rhythmic screech of metal on metal as trains move goods from the Liverpool docks. Why here? Manchester was engineered by its geography. Nestled in a bowl of hills that trapped moisture, the air was naturally damp, perfect for spinning cotton without the thread snapping. The city was a giant machine designed to turn raw American slave-grown cotton into Manchester goods for the entire planet. Next, we arrive at the anchor of civic pride, the Manchester Town Hall. Rising like a Gothic cathedral of commerce, its spires pierce the smog. As you look up, the sheer scale of the Victorian Gothic architecture is meant to dwarf the individual. The AI reconstruction restores the pristine, honey-colored sandstone before decades of soot turned it charcoal black. Notice the bee motifs carved into every surface. The bee wasn't just decoration. It was a symbol of the worker bee ethos. In 19th century Manchester, your value was defined by your industry. This is the origin of the term Cottonopolis, a city that functioned with a hive mind efficiency of a colony, producing more textiles than any other place on earth. We move now to the Parliament of the Lords of Cotton, the Royal Exchange. Step inside, and the acoustic changes instantly. The roar of the street is replaced by the low, frantic hum of thousands of men in top hats bidding on the world's prices. The ceiling is a vast, ornate dome, and the floors are polished to a mirror finish. Here, fortunes are made in a single afternoon. You might see the apostle of free trade, Richard Cobden, moving through the crowd. He wasn't just a merchant. He was an architect of the global economy, arguing that trade, not war, should be the glue that holds nations together. This room was the center of the first truly globalized market. We move now to the water's edge. But this isn't the sparkling Mediterranean. This is the Rochdale Canal. The water is a viscous, ink-black ribbon, smelling of chemicals and stagnant mud. Educational insight. Look at the buildings lining the water. They are built right to the edge because in Manchester, frontage meant access to the coal barges. The city was a masterpiece of stacking. Warehouses were designed with internal hydraulic lifts, an AI-visualized marvel, to move heavy bales of cotton with a flick of a lever. But the Lords of Cotton required a loom army. We move now away from the marble and into Angel Meadow, ironically named as it was described as hell on earth. The grand boulevards vanish. The streets narrow into slippery, sewage-streaked alleys. The smell here is a revolting mix of unwashed bodies, rotting refuse, and the damp mold of cellar dwellings. Social contrast. While the merchants at the exchange drank fine port, here, 3 families might share a single windowless room. You see blind children and orphans scavenging for pure dog dung, used in leather tanning. It is the grit that paid for the gold. In the shadow of the great mills sits our hidden gem, the school for the indigent blind. Amidst the cold machinery of the city, this was a rare pocket of dignity. AI reconstruction allows us to see inside the workshop. The sound is the rhythmic clicking of looms as students, despite their lack of sight, weave intricate baskets and mats. It's a powerful story of human resilience. Even in a city that treated people like replaceable parts, there were those striving to prove that every life had craft and value. Our final stop is St. Peter's Field. Though we see it now as a bustling square, the AI overlays a tragedy beat, a digital ghost of the Peterloo Massacre. In 1819, 60,000 workers gathered here to demand the right to vote. The cavalry was sent in, charging into the crowd with sabers drawn. The air, once filled with the hope of cheers, was replaced by the screams of the wounded. This event scarred Manchester's soul and birthed the modern labor movement. Looking at the quiet square now, you realize that every brick in this city was laid over a struggle for basic human rights. We end our tour at the Owens College Laboratories. Here, the smog didn't just hide misery, it fostered genius. See the man with the spectacles and the modest coat? That's John Dalton. In this damp, industrial city, he developed the modern atomic theory. He realized that the same chemicals polluting the Manchester rivers were made of the same fundamental particles as the stars. Manchester was the city where humanity finally learned what the world was actually made of. Victorian Manchester was the shock city, the first place where the human race proved we could outproduce nature itself. It gave us the railway, the computer, through Babbage and Lovelace's connections here, and the weekend. Though the soot has been washed away and the mills converted into luxury flats, the DNA of the modern world remains etched into these streets. Which city would you like to see revived next? The neon-soaked London of the 1960s, or perhaps the gold rush chaos of San Francisco? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the past.